Hey boo, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I'm Valerie and I'm so happy you are here. Neville Goddard said, stop mentally living in your old house, your old habit, your old finances. Renew the mind and live in the new. And in the Bible, in Romans 12:2, it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So there is the entire concept happening here in manifesting your desire of testing out the will of God, the way God speaks to us through our desires, through your imagination, of making that into a direct experience of God's will. And we can keep seeking and testing and exploring, and sometimes it's stop and start. Sometimes there is a speed bump. Sometimes we're moved in another direction. And that does get frustrating. It does take some patience sometimes. It does make us feel, maybe you feel like you got pushed out of whatever state you were inhabiting, or that you forgot to be in your state. But keep in mind always that it's not your fault. It's not a misdemeanor. It's not anything that's like, do not pass go and do not collect $200 like in a Monopoly game. It is part of the ongoing experience that's happening for you to keep persevering, to know that you already have what it is that you have desired, that the fulfillment of it is there, but it's the renewing of the mind. This is exactly what it says here, is that transformation, the renewing of your mind. Otherwise, we are going to keep backsliding in a way, or backpedaling, I think is what people say right now. And it's about where it's getting stuck and having to catch up. It's that feeling of I'm always behind, or I'm spinning my wheels here, or I'm stuck in a middle on this. But that is an appearance that can happen because we feel there's something extra that has to be going on before we can have what we want. We feel slowed down. That feeling of hurry up and wait, or anything like that, that keeps us from having what we want. And when does that sense of looking for where is it that's seeking become actually the feeling and the knowing and the claiming of finding it, of resting in that state, of actually having it? In a sense, that's what you are giving to yourself. This is what you are allowing yourself to have, to be opening to that abundance. And a lot of times in the course of trying to sort out our mind state around it, or feeling that we're blocked, or feeling that there's some family trauma, generational trauma, dysfunction that's in the way, is in a sense, it's a secondary cause that we are sitting on, that in a sense we're giving that life, instead of knowing that we have all the power to choose and to experience the fullness of the potential that we possess. I know it's a lot of wordiness here, but this is part of what is going on. It's just always feeling you're just on the verge of it. You're just on the edge of it. But where is it? I'm just on the I'm trying to get it. And where is it? I'm reaching for it. It's not there. So the first thing is to be happy in yourself that you already are there, knowing that you have it, that this is already yours, that you have claimed it. You can have that feeling of satisfaction in claiming it. Remember, you're not conforming to the pattern of the world. You are transformed. You are no longer, you moved out of your old house. This is what Neville is saying. Stop mentally living in your old house, your old habit, your old finances. Because these are the things that keep us going around and around and around in circles instead of what Neville refers to as spiraling upward into consciousness, into receiving the kingdom of heaven that is your high consciousness, your inner being, your inner self, and allowing that to take the lead. And yeah, that is where surrender, which I've talked about in a previous video, where that comes in. So what happens is that as we keep looking, a lot of times we get that shiny object syndrome. We get attracted to the latest idea around how to get it, or some other various types of modalities, and we're in and out of different kinds of modalities and light workers and energy workers, and each of those things is a powerful experience in itself. But it can also hold us back. It's one more step, and then I've got to do yet another step, and then I've got to do yet another step, like as if it's a certification program with modules. And there are times when, yeah, that's important in something you're doing for your profession, for your career, that it's a course of study that you're doing and it has modules for your knowledge. But if we're doing nothing but just collecting phases and stages of growth, you're already there. You're already in the end. There's no backpedaling that you need to be doing, because you already had it from the beginning, and it just got complicated. I was talking in my last video about overthinking and how that can get in between you and the fulfillment of your desire, that it's already manifested. This is why Neville and other mystic teachers of the past would say, Neville actually said, be a doer of the word and not a hearer only. And the teacher kind of in Neville's time, maybe a little before him, was a teacher named Walter Russell. And he and his wife Leo were wonderful teachers of consciousness. And Walter Russell also talked about not turning your head into a photocopying machine and just being able to spout all this knowledge, but it never gets actually put into practice. It never gets actually put to use. Otherwise, your head just becomes like a kind of a museum of ideas, but they never actually bear fruit, because all they are allowed to do is sit there. And we want to become the ones who are finders, who are out there having that experience, testing and approving what God's will is. Approving. It is you who approve. You are approving you here. This is a very important passage. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. It's pleasing. You are pleasing you. God is within you. My Father and I are one, and my Father is greater. That is what Neville called the unseen reality, or your dimensionally larger self, the greater self, in which you are part of that fabric of the greater self. But we get to actually say, yeah, this is it. It's our approval. Approve what God's will is. So, yes, you may have invested in another type of modality, therapy, or whatever it is. You must have that faith that you already have it, because otherwise your faith can be going off into secondary causes. But the real faith is within, that this is going to be what renews the mind. Renew the mind and live in the new. If you're missing that shred of faith, that you need, that this is the true purpose, the true answer, the true fulfillment that already was there in you. It already was there in you. And yes, it's a spirit of adventure, of course, of looking for the answer, of going to the mountaintop. And there was a very funny New Yorker cartoon, I think it was, where a man is crawling up the mountain and he sees the wise man sitting on the top of the mountain in the lotus position, and he's looking and he says, "What is the meaning of life, O master?" And the bearded fellow looks down on him and he says, "Have you tried Googling it?" So it's that same idea that there's a million choices, but the real answer is in here, in the renewing of your mind. You already are perfect. If you're seeking to try to fix yourself, you never were broken in the first place. You already were complete and perfect. Again, the renewing of the mind shows you that you already are complete and whole and perfect to begin with. And it's remembering that you are that radiant, scintillating facet, sparkling of the diamond that is God, the opulence that is God, the divine, the inner authority that you have. And when you can allow yourself to claim it or unite with it, that is the transformation. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The kingdom of heaven within you, your consciousness, that is your greatness, your superpower. You are the all, the inner authority. And if you do have to feel like you are returning, it's a return to source, the U-turn. And again, that's what meditation teachers who had great wisdom in Tibetan Buddhism, like Chogyam Trungpa in the 20th century, and he said, the Guru gives back to you what already is yours. It's one of my very favorite quotes, and you may have heard me say this in previous videos, but this is the essence. This is the essence. That's part of the transformation of the renewing of your mind, is returning and receiving what is already yours, the U-turn, turning into you, to fully be you. Go within, turn to you, from whatever or wherever you've been giving your power away to. And be transformed by that. Love you so much, Boo. Thank you so much for joining me here, and I'll see you in the next video.